Tesla stock is back again today, up about 3.5%. There's actually a couple different reasons for this, and we'll get into that here in this video. We did get China insurance registration numbers for last week that came in at 9,800. This is 100 less than this same week last year, but the expectations were that this number could come in even much worse than 9,800. At a time when everyone believes Tesla's demand is slowing down or just the overall business, this is validation that things are not as bad as some people might think. President Joe Biden is raising the tariff rate on electric vehicles imported from China from 25% to 100% beginning this year. The tariff rate for lithium-ion batteries from China used in EVs will increase from 7.5% to 25%. This is really just seen as a big win for Tesla because it will help keep competition away from the US domestic market, and Chinese vehicles are made cheap, they're inexpensive, and to keep those over there on that side of the world is a great thing for Tesla. And this hike on tariffs, even the lithium-ion batteries, it's not expected to do anything for Tesla's business because Tesla is not importing Chinese-made Teslas into the US anyways. So really, this is seen as just good news for Tesla. Barron's actually wrote this article that says Tesla should be impacted the least by the Biden administration's increased tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles. Tesla has also filed for regulatory approval of the new Model 3 Performance in China. It's also being reported that Tesla has just been granted, quote, neural network for embedded devices patent. This is seen as another step closer to protecting Tesla's dominance in full self-driving and eventually a robotaxi network. Elon Musk took to X today to write this post, quote, all transport will be electric, with the ironic exception of rockets. Validating yet again, Elon's opinion is gasoline vehicles, they're going to become obsolete, and inevitably it's going to be all about electric vehicles. Jerome Powell said this about the PPI numbers that came out this morning. I should mention first, PPI month over month came out at 0.5%. The expectation was 0.2%, but last month's PPI numbers were revised lower from 0.2% down to negative 0.1%. That was for headline PPI month over month and core PPI month over month. So when you're looking at a negative number and you're thinking about this on a month over month basis, if you're negative 0.1%, then really it's not that strong of a number if you come in as 0.5% on a month over month basis like we did today. On this PPI number, Jerome Powell said, quote, I wouldn't call it hot. I would call it sort of mixed. The main read-throughs to PCE from the PPI likely offset as lower airfares and healthcare costs likely offset the hotter financial services subcomponent. Jerome Powell also said in his speech this morning, I don't think it's likely that the next move would be a rate hike. It's more likely that we would hold the policy rate where it is. He also said, we think it's probably a matter of staying at the current policy rate for longer, which that was seen as good news today given the PPI number that came out, and overall it seems like there is some pressure on the Fed that maybe they should be raising rates. Now, that's not my assumption. I believe the economy is probably going to deteriorate further from here, but that's what some people are calling on the Fed to do. The fact that Jerome Powell shot this down yet again is positive for markets. Tesla bull over on X says there is more Warren Buffett Tesla options again today for the second week in a row. The expiration being June 21st, 2024. He says we have seen massive options setting up for $276 up to $320 per share by late June. And that's certainly possible, especially if CPI does come in lower than expected coming tomorrow. But more on that in the next video, because we do have a lot of other Tesla stock news that you need to know, including this. Tesla's FSD V12 also works well in Europe, including Moldova and Romania. The driver said he drove in that country, and that is this clip here. I'm not going to play it, but apparently FSD works well also in Europe. So it's really just a matter of time before FSD enters that market also. Also worth mentioning before we move on, you are seeing GME up 65% today, AMC stock up about 50%, and this is really fueling some of that risk on trading behavior, which I would imagine is positively affecting Tesla stock the last 2 days also. Tesla China has reportedly suspended export deliveries to the south port of Shanghai and will deliver more vehicles to domestic demand. In addition, the majority of vehicles already waiting for export have all been exported. And apparently, Yipit credit card data showed that just 2% of Tesla owners with a free FSD 30-day trial actually subscribed to it after the 30-day trial expired. Gary Black's assumption was about 6% of those who tried FSD would actually subscribe. Now, this data from Yipit, we have no idea where it really comes from. The sample size was only 3,500 Teslas that actually got the FSD, or presumably got the FSD. So there's a lot of holes in this data, so we'll have to wait and see if we get more clarity from Elon. It looks like Nate Diaz, the UFC fighter, has taken delivery of a Cybertruck, and he thinks it's really cool. He says dope as F. Not sure exactly how far I can push that via YouTube standards, so we'll just leave that there. Tesla is now running paid advertisements on Google Search and X, encouraging Tesla shareholders to vote in the upcoming stockholder meeting. The information wrongly reported today that the team working on Tesla's new Roadster were caught off guard by Elon's post a couple months ago that the vehicle would do 0 to 60 in under 1 second. Elon already confirmed in May of 2021 it would do a 0 to 60 time in about 1.1 seconds. Well, Elon Musk said today, quote, "It would also obviously be ridiculous for the Roadster to achieve simply the same 0 to 60 time as the Model S, even though it has a two-door, fully performance-oriented vehicle." If you were curious how a fake engine sounds in an electric vehicle, well, take a listen.
It actually makes like a V8 noise. It's called G-roar, and it's a signature sound. So if I put my foot down a bit, so the power is instant. Listen to that. The power is very instant, but it's not shocking. It doesn't shove you back in the seat.
Let me know what you think about that down below in the comment section. The Chamber of Industry and Commerce near Tesla's Giga Berlin factory sees the protest against Tesla as a threat to the economic development of the region. Battery storage is about to overtake global capacity of pumped hydro. Tesla has been sued by an environmental nonprofit that accused the company of violating the Federal Clean Air Act hundreds of times by letting its Fremont, California plant emit harmful pollutants. The Tesla strike in Sweden heats up as the nation's largest union now joins the fray. The Tesla Cybertruck was spotted in Rome, Italy today. Global inventory numbers today are falling a little bit for the Model Y, uptrending for the Model S as well as the Model X and also the Model 3. All of these other models are uptrending at least a little bit. Specifically, the Model 3 needs to rise from here. That will show that maybe Fremont is getting things down, if you will, to start producing more Model 3s. We want to see more Model 3s because the refreshed Model 3 has been selling well, but the wait time is quite long. Tesla continues to run about 4,000 different ads with Google today. Option activity today in Tesla stock by big money is quite positive. You have a positive order value of 79%, 13 orders totaling $2.66 million. Options expiring by this Friday have 54.35% of the total open interest on the call side, 45.65% on the put side. Volume today is 56.05% calls and 43.95% puts. Tesla's short interest remains at multi-year highs of 3.8 0.87%. You have $18.42 billion currently in short positions, with 107.19 million shares that are currently sold short. Cost to borrow fees today are less than 1%, so that would not indicate a lot of shorting activity today. In fact, with Tesla stock up 3% and could go higher coming tomorrow if CPI comes in lower than expected, given what Fed Jerome Powell said today and PPI data, it would make sense for some shorts to start covering on short positions. It doesn't look like that's happening, and that can likely fuel further upside pressure to Tesla stock. Google Trends data for full self-driving, taking a look at the past 5 years for the United States. I mean, clearly you're at the highest point still you have been in 5 years, okay? You recently hit 100, you fell to a low of 26, and now you're back up to 34. So it actually looks like search trend activity is picking up again for full self-driving. Now, I would imagine more than 2% of people that took the free trial of full self-driving subscribed to it based on this data, but I don't know what that number is. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 15%, maybe it's 5%, I don't know, but it's higher than 2% if you ask me. Google Trends data for the entire Tesla lineup continues to rocket higher today. The Cybertruck now at 75, the Model Y at 51, recently going from 29 all the way to 51, a huge jump. The Model 3 increasing from 23 to 26, the Model S from 11 to 12, and the Model X from 9 to 10. It's like Tesla offering a lower APY for the month of May for the Model Y is, well, having a positive impact to all Tesla models. And if I were to imagine Tesla's seeing a lot of success in their order book based on this lower APY, and this is probably a strategy that Tesla will continue to use. Over on StockTwits, sentiment for Tesla is neutral today at 51. Yesterday, you were neutral at 49, so that's actually a little bit of an improvement. Message volume today is at 47, which is considered normal, better than yesterday, which was at 44, considered low, and the participation ratio today is high at 55, which is roughly where it has been for the last couple of weeks. The percent of stocks above their 50-day moving average is rising as well today. Almost 4% of stocks on the entire market are breaking above their 50-day moving average. That's up about 7% as a total today. Now you're at 58% of stocks above their 50-day moving average. This is largely because of the outperformance you are now seeing in the Russell 2000. The Russell is up about 1% today. The NASDAQ up 0.2%. The S&P and the Dow are slightly negative. So this outperformance in the Russell is causing a broadening out of our markets. But I do think a lot of this outperformance of the Russell is really just trading and speculation and meme stocks and other areas. So I want you guys to be a little bit on the careful side here. You are seeing 10-year treasury yields that are falling about 2 basis points today, down to 4.46%. Tomorrow is going to be big for 10-year treasuries. If inflation comes in lower than expected, 10-year treasury yields are going to fall and small caps will continue to rally. Vice versa, if inflation comes in high, well, 10-year treasury yields are probably going to rally again, and that's not going to be great. Overall, though, Tesla stock is having a great day. At the time of recording this video, Tesla is up 3.3%, heading into its resistance level here. That is this trend line that has proven to be a strong level of resistance in the past. In fact, the only time you've actually gotten above this have been days where Tesla stock has gapped up. Right here, right? You got above this on a 3% gap up, and then you were above this the next day, and then you fell under again. You found resistance here, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times prior to this gap up that you've seen on Tesla's last earnings, where Tesla went up Well, this wasn't technically earnings. This was full self-driving potentially entering the Chinese market here soon, where Tesla rallied 15%. Other than that, you've always found resistance at this level unless you gapped above it. So coming tomorrow, it's possible that you gap above this trend line, and that's going to put you somewhere in the low 180s, if not mid 180s. If not, then you'll probably find some at least short-term resistance around this trend line here, which is going to be around 180 to 181. So if you get above, let's call it 180, 181, that's very positive, and you likely get back into the 188 level, if not back even into the 190s, just depending on how CPI goes. Your 100-day moving average as well as your 200-day moving average are going to be very important levels to be watching. But more of a technical breakdown in the next video. Tesla's RSI is neutral at 53.5 and Tesla's MACD is still positive. TLT is up 0.29% today. USO is down 1.44%. This is actually very positive because oil is, I mean, if you overlay, let's just put it like this. If you overlay inflation with oil, I mean, you'll find that oil tends to cause a lot of your inflationary pressures. And ever since you peaked out here, really around April 5th, oil has fallen from about $83.41 per barrel down to where you are now at about $76 per barrel. That's pretty disinflationary. If this continues and you continue to see a sell-off in oil, that's going to look really good for inflation coming over the next few months. Dollar is also down 0.13% today, continuing to fall lower, and that is good, right? You want to see the dollar fall. That is positive for multinationals. So let me know what you think about all of this information down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to come trade with us, check out that link down below in the description of this video. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.